Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be my review for the 6th and final episode of Ms. Marvel.
In every generation, there is chosen one girl in all the world. She alone will review the movies, TV shows, and books of geek culture. I am the chosen girl.
So I'm a little sad there's only 6 episodes of Ms. Marvel. I wish these Disney Plus shows were a little bit longer. This is one of the longer episodes of the show though, so it had kind of a lot to do to wrap up the show that we got. And I've been really loving this show so far. I'm really happy they stuck the landing because I thought episodes 4 and 5 weren't as great as the first 3, especially episode 4. So I'm really happy they kind of got back to formula with this last episode. We're back in Jersey City. We got Kamala's family again. We got her friends Nakia and Bruno back. And so I'm really happy that we bring all these elements back for the final episode. So it turns out that Damage Control is kind of the big villain for the show. I wish we maybe would have set them up. I mean, I know they were in the first 3 episodes, but they sort of more like a pest that kept bothering Kamala and not really like the thing to overcome. So I was hoping maybe we could have done something more with that. Cameron was not the villain, but he was kind of also destroying some of the Damage Control agents as well. So he was sort of a villain. Kamala had to kind of fight him a couple times, but he wasn't the big villain that I thought he would end up being, and I'm glad they didn't do that with him also. So Damage Control is the kind of agency that I'm not sure where we're going. I'm wondering if Damage Control is going to be more involved in the MCU going forward, because I know they were in the beginning of Spider-Man No Way Home, and we haven't kind of really done anything with them since then until now. So I'm curious if they're going to pop up in more of these shows. I think we might get them in She-Hulk. So we'll have to keep a lookout on that for the Damage Control. So this episode kind of opens up with Kamala telling her family about her powers. And I really like that, you know, her mom told her dad, and her dad always has his phone on speaker, and so the brother and the brother's wife found out. So I kind of really love that reveal that they already knew, but I love how supportive they are also. And one of the things I liked was when the dad is talking to Kamala, he's telling her, you need to be safe, you need to be careful just because you have these powers. And she says, oh, you taught me to help people. And I love that the mom, the Ami, comes back and tells the dad, we trust her, right? Which is a callback to the first episode when the dad tells the mom, oh, we trust you, and the mom's like, no, we don't. And so it's kind of come full circle. The mom has learned to trust Kamala now, and so I really love the family dynamic. I like that Taisha, the brother's wife, she starts asking these questions. She's fascinated, and we don't actually get the answer to her question, because the brother has another question, and so I just like the enthusiasm and the support that they give Kamala, and I thought that was really nice. I do have a few questions about the Noor Dimension and the Veil. So if the Noor Dimension they open it from our reality, it will destroy ours, but how were the clandestine originally exiled to our reality? Can the Noor Dimension open up a portal to our reality and that won't destroy our Earth, or how does that work? They don't really explain that. I want more information about this Noor Dimension, about the clandestine, about the Jinn, about the powers. We never got a follow-up to that blue arm. What was all that about? Where's the second bangle? I want these. I hope we're going to get answers to these, because there's still, I feel a lot of unanswered questions that I'm not sure the MCU is ever going to address, because that kind of feels like what Phase 4 is doing right now, is just throwing out a bunch of stuff and we're not getting answers to it. So maybe the Marvels would give us some more answers and clues to what's going on. Or maybe if Ms. Marvel gets a Season 2, we can get more answers. I would definitely love to see Kamala's family come back, because I thought, them and Bruno and Nakia and even Zoe, I thought they were the best parts of the show. And so I really would like to see that followed up. And so we finally get the reveal of the new Ms. Marvel costume. She's been wearing this Avengers Con cosplay costume this whole time, and other things. So we finally get the costume, and her mom, Muniba, gives it to her. My guess is that while they were in Pakistan, perhaps Muniba and Nani maybe made her a costume. Because I think at some point we saw Nani like sewing stuff, and it came in that like milk toffee box that Nani has all over the place. So my guess is maybe they made her this costume. And I do like that, in the first episode, Kamala's dressed in this Captain Marvel outfit that she made herself, and her mom's like, this is not you. And so now she gives her this outfit and she says, this is you. And I really like that. I think this episode kind of really comes full circle with that first episode, which I guess I love that first episode. I was so excited for that first episode, so I really like all the callbacks to that. And then we get the damage control agents are busting into the mosque looking for Cameron and Bruno. And I love Nakia has like formulated this plan, and she's got like this boyfriend behind the door, and the boyfriend's just like so excited that she called him her boyfriend or something. And I love Sheik Abdullah in this also. He just stands up to the agent, and I love the line about the cookies. I thought that was a lot of fun. And I just really thought that this is really great representation. And I like Sheik Abdullah also like quoting Abraham Lincoln. And of course the damage control agent like assumes it's from the Quran or something. And that just kind of shows like people's ignorance of other cultures. But also he was quoting Abraham Lincoln, which is like America, so. But I do love Kamala jumping around the city on her little platforms. She's like running around through the buildings on her. It really reminded me of like Spider-Man swinging. It really reminded me of Spider-Man swinging through the cities through New York, and so I thought that was kind of like a good kind of comparison. I really feel like this show has taken a lot of inspiration from those Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. And this episode also brought back the awesome animation and music and Kamala's planning on the chalkboard. So I thought that was a lot of fun. That was some stuff that I really liked in the first few episodes as well. So I really like that we brought that back again for this episode. And I think that might have more to do with the directors than anything, but we're also just back in her world, her environment. And so it feels just right that she's, doing her talking and her planning and drawing everything out that we saw from the first episode. I thought that was a lot of fun. And so in order to get Kamran out of the country, out of the city, she calls up the Red Dagger guy. She calls him up and he says he can get her out. And I thought at first that was going to be like a cameo, like I know somebody, and we're going to get like a cameo reveal. We didn't. Cameron just shows up and they just meet up at the end, Cameron and Red Dagger guy. Maybe they'll be a team. I don't know. So that was, I don't really like that we spent all that time with the Red Daggers and we just did nothing with them other than she made a phone call. I feel like we could have just cut the Red Daggers stuff. Or, these really should be longer episodes. But I feel like we could have just cut all the Red Dagger stuff and maybe saved that for a second season. Because it just feels like it's wasting time in this already short season and short episodes. So then Kamala and all her friends gather at the school, and I love that her mom sends her brother to like check in on her and make sure she's staying safe. And he's just like so chill about everything. And I love that he's like upset that Cameron is not a fan of the British Bake Off. I thought that was a pretty funny callback as well. And so Zoe just happens to be there because the drama room has great lighting for all of her TikTok videos or whatever. So Zoe is in on it, and it's confirmed that Zoe did know Kamala's identity as Nightlight, and she just didn't tell the damage control. And I liked seeing that other side of her, because, she was portrayed as, just this bully girl in the first episode, and I really like this episode kind of shows that that's really not who she really is. Or I think it's supposed to say that Kamala saving her life has really impacted her and changed her. And so she and Nakia kind of talk and become kind of friends by the end of this episode. So I like seeing the return of Zoe, and they kind of weaponize her followers and like utilize all of her TikTok followers and bring them down to the school to kind of really put the pressure and the media on damage control that's like invading them at the school. So that was kind of fun to see as well. And then the main damage control guy that we saw from Spider-Man No Way Home, he calls the agent lady and he tells her to like, this is really looking really bad, you should quit. And then of course she doesn't, and she sends all the troops in to fight them. And then we kind of get like a little montage of like them trying to like Home Alone fight off these damage control agents with like smoke and softballs, and at one point they use chemistry to create like a big foam blob that takes over everything, which I thought was kind of fun. And so I really kind of like just this atmosphere of being in the school and having these teenagers, like, yeah, these are things teenagers would think of and do. Kamala's like trying to save Cameron from them, and then of course she has to tell Cameron that her mom died and the veil's destroying things. And it kind of feels like Cameron's powers are from the veil, like his powers like kind of explode out and destroy things. And it's very different from how Kamala uses her powers, which I think we'll kind of get a hint at the end of the episode. So I thought that was a lot of fun, everything in the school. And then we get like a little sweet moment where Cameron and Kamala like hold hands, and then like their hands start to glow together, and it looks like they're going to kiss. And then like Bruno comes in and he ruins the moment, and you can see kind of like the look of hurt on his face. And then he like distracts the guys with some the agents with a dance or something. But poor Bruno. So then Kamala and Cameron are out, and Kamala gets to kind of say her famous line from the comics. She says "embiggen," and she kind of like grows, like her hands become bigger, her feet become bigger, and everything, and it's like her catchphrase from the comics. And then at one point, like, she saves some people and some guys, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And some guy's like, "Yes, Miss Nightlight." And she's like, "Oh, that's not the name." So I like that kind of callback that she's still working on the name. And then Cameron kind of just unleashes his power, and for a minute it looks like he's like terraforming the Earth with the Noor dimension or something. Like, these are just popping out, and so Kamala like kind of saves him. And even after everything he's done, she still wants to save him and protect him, which I thought was sweet because that's the kind of hero that she is. And so Cameron escapes, and he gets on the boat or whatever and meets up with the Red Dagger at the end of the episode. And I also really like that line that Kamala tells to Cameron about there is no normal, there is only what we do with what we've been given, which I think kind of is like her version of the Spider-Man responsibility line. It kind of gives us an idea of what kind of hero she's going to be, so I really like that. That's kind of her sort of hero mantra. And then at the end, Kamala's community kind of comes in and helps kind of rescue her from the damage control, and then that agent lady is like fired because she went against orders. And even the cops protect Kamala, and so Kamala just hops away in her little platforms, which again, I love. I think it's very Spider-Man-like, and that's a lot of fun. And then we get all this montage of social media videos about what happened, and I like seeing everybody's different reactions. We get like Nakia and Zoe, and then we get like that guy that was so excited that he's her boyfriend now, and then the kid from the second episode that broke his arms. He mentions that she dropped him. So those were a lot of fun. I think there's some cameos and stuff in there, some Easter eggs. The end of the episode ends with Kamala's dad on the rooftop, and they're talking, and he says that the reason they named her Kamala is because Kamal means perfect, but in Urdu it means Marvel, and he says that she was always their Ms. Marvel. And so that's how we get the name Ms. Marvel for Kamala. And I kind of like it. I mean, again, it was, the symbol. They made the symbol for Ms. Marvel was her name in Arabic. So I think it kind of makes it seem more organic. I mean, it also kind of just feels like we need a reason to have her being called Ms. Marvel and her symbol. But I think it kind of feels more organic, like this is where she would develop, this symbol and this name. So I kind of liked that. And then the very, very end, we get, we think the episode's going to end, and then we cut to 2 weeks later, and Bruno's driving Cameron's car because Cameron left it behind, and I like that Nakia wants it, and it's confirmed Bruno is leaving to California for the Polytech school, and Bruno says that he took another look at Kamala's genetics, and there was something different from hers from the rest of her family, which is why they don't have powers. Although I think we kind of confirmed Nani did have some kind of powers, because she could see some of the visions and stuff. But so Bruno confirms that basically Kamala's immune. He says that she has a mutation in her genes, And that is partly why she has the powers that she does. So I think what they're trying to tell us is that the bangle, instead of Terrigenesis from the comics, the bangle is what unlocked her mutant abilities. But also, she does have powers connected to the Noor dimension. But that's why her powers are expressed very differently from, say, the rest of the clandestine, and from her Nani and Aisha and Cameron, is because she also has this mutant gene in her that allows her to maybe use those Noor dimension powers differently. So that's what I think they're telling us, is that it's kind of a combination of both. It's that she had a mutant gene, and that the Noor dimension and the mutant gene work together to give her the power set that she has. I think that's what they're saying. It's very interesting to see if that's what we're going to build off of to get to the X-Men or not. So we'll see where that goes. And then the very end credit scene, we get Kamala lying on her bed, and the bangle starts to light up, and so she's worried about that. And the next thing we know, it looks like she gets sucked into a portal or something, and then out comes Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, aka Brie Larson. So at first I thought, oh, did she transform into Carol Danvers like she can do in the comics? But that doesn't make any sense because she would have recognized her own bedroom. So I think what they're telling us is that she somehow switched places with Carol Danvers. And that's why Captain Marvel was very confused and was like, oh no. So it's kind of setting up for the Marvels movie, which is going to star Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, and Monica Rambeau from WandaVision. So I'm pretty excited for that movie. I'm really excited. That's my next big Marvel movie I'm excited for. Because again, I love Ms. Marvel. I love the power set of Captain Marvel. She's great in Endgame. I loved Monica Rambeau from WandaVision. So this is a little thread leading into that. So I don't know where we're going from there, but I can't wait. So overall, I really loved this episode of Ms. Marvel. I really thought it tied back to what I loved about those first few episodes. I wish we would have maybe got another flashback with Aisha or something, because I really love that Aisha character. And I really want to know about the history of the Noor and the Jinn and all of that stuff, and where that blue arm came from, and the history of the bangle. Why was the 10 Rings logo where the bangle was found? How does this all tie in? And I don't know that we're going to get any answers, or if these are just Easter eggs. But if they're just Easter eggs, I don't like that. I want solid connection answers. But overall, I love this show. I think it's the second best Marvel show since WandaVision. I just cannot wait for more of this character. And so, yeah, I can't be more happy. I'm really glad the show ended with a good finale. I wish we had more episodes, but overall this has just been a really fun show to watch, and really kind of gets me more hyped again for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So anyway, those are all my thoughts about the final episode of Ms. Marvel and the show as a whole. What are your thoughts? Be sure to comment down below. Hit the thumbs up button if you like the video and the channel. And stay tuned, and I probably will do She-Hulk. I will review the She-Hulk episodes. And also I'm thinking about doing a full review of the MCU from the beginning, starting with the first Iron Man. So stay tuned to the channel for more videos, for more Marvel reviews, more movie reviews. As that's it. That's all I got from Ms. Marvel. Thanks everybody for watching.